Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Thursday morning. I hope your day is going well wherever you're watching this or listening to this around the world. I'm sure it is going much, much better than most of Manchester United fans who are sitting around the world at the moment, sitting there complaining aimlessly about free kicks and set pieces and moaning after Arsenal's victory. 2-0 last night at the Emirates. The set piece kings do it all over again and everybody is fuming and how we are all loving it. So I'm going to talk about that in depth today's show. We're going to go over last night, the big talking points, look at what Mikel's going to have to say, been having to say after the game. I'm going to have a bit of a rant because I fancy a rant today. And I'm just getting really wound up by all the set piece moaning and groving from all of you rival fans out there, if you're not Arsenal fans, about how good Arsenal are. How dare they be good at set pieces? What are they thinking? That should not be allowed, should it? So yeah, going to talk about that. Got lots of responses from you guys as well to another Arsenal win. Really important win as well. Ruben Amorim has his first taste of defeat as a Manchester United manager. Arsenal scoring twice in the second half through set pieces. Yes, set pieces to win the game and take 3 very deserved points because they were much, much better than Manchester United last night. Not so much in the first half. Wasn't the prettiest of opening 45 minutes. United came, sat deep, packed their 3-man defence, their 4-man midfield, gave Arsenal very little room, and they did it well. Credit to them tactically. They set themselves up not to concede a goal, and they did that in the first half. But it was a very different game in the second half. Arsenal weren't great. I think they probably played into United's hands a bit in the first half. Didn't really work out how to get through them or how to get around them. And second half, you could just see the intensity from the first whistle of the second half was completely different for Arsenal. There was more energy, there was more drive. They got at United, they created problems for United, they pulled them apart, they won set pieces because of that. They're good football going forward, that they created chances, they got players in on the overload down the sides, won set pieces, and they took advantage of them, of course, with the goal. During Timber getting the first, and William Saliba getting the second off his backside. Set pieces count as goals, they do. They're quite important, set pieces. If you're doing well, you score goals and you win games. That's why they're quite an important part of the game. And Arsenal did it very well yesterday. Brilliant deliveries from both, especially Declan Rice. His deliveries yesterday were absolutely on point in that game. It caused United so many problems. They just couldn't deal with them. Arsenal, I'm going to talk about set pieces a little bit later on, actually. So I was going to say something, but I'm going to say it a little bit later because I'm going to wait. The first one was obviously Declan Rice's ball was swung in. Timber got there at the near post, flicked it on, scored. Second goal came from the other side. Bukayo Saka this time, more of a deep cross to where Thomas Partey was. Partey headed it back across, hit Saliba on his backside. He had no idea, what had gone on it, deflected into the net, and off he went, celebrating as only William Saliba does. And it was 2-0, and that was a much fairer reflection on the scoreline. Arsenal could and should have won this game by far more. They were the better team by a distance. You look at the stats. Their shots 14 to United's 5, 6 on target. Expected goals 2.33 to 0.31. United were barely existent in this game, apart from a set piece, which they didn't score from because David Ryan made an unbelievable save from De Ligt's header. I'm sure there wouldn't have been too many complaints from United fans had that goal from a set piece gone in, would there? But aside from that, Arsenal were just much, much better, especially in that second half. They took the game to United. United couldn't deal with them. Arsenal should have scored more. They didn't have their shooting boots on. You go back to the chances. Even in the first half, Martinelli's chance, which he put wide, Thomas Partey's header at the near post, which he just missed his header and it hit his shoulder. Any sort of proper contact on that and it goes in. Kai Havertz went through in the second half. Bit close when you look at it. When he took the finish, it was very hard to score from there because he was just a bit too close and Onana had narrowed the angle pretty well. There are other opportunities as well. I thought Trossard came on and made a big impact in the second half, caused some problems, created opportunities for Arsenal. They just didn't quite have that final ball or their shooting boots on in and around the final third. So they had to rely on set pieces to win the game, and they did that, and they won the game because set pieces count as goals. Not that a lot of people will be saying otherwise at the moment, or seem to be saying otherwise at the moment. So 2-0, 3 valuable points in the bag for Arsenal. 4 successive wins against Manchester United now in the league. Mikel Arteta, the first manager to achieve that. Speaking after the game, Mikel said, I think the team was excellent. The energy in the stadium was amazing. So I'm very happy to celebrate with a massive victory for us, a 4th in a row in a really convincing way, scoring 2 goals and not conceding, with a lot of players that haven't played that much, but showed me again that the team that they are ready when needed. You really need to dig in against this kind of opposition. We tweaked a few things at half time. The team had a bit more clarity, a bit more efficiency. We did the simple things much better, and the game opened up a little bit more. We had some big chances in open play, and then we scored from 2 set pieces. We haven't conceded anything, and on that action comes from a throw-in that we didn't execute well. We gave away a foul, and then they create a chance, and David is there to save us. He's talking about the sort of Zinchenko when he gave away the foul from Ahmad after getting in a bit of a mix-up from the throw-in, and that was when De Ligt's header from the resulting free kick. And he was right. You could see that it obviously did something at half-time, because it was a very different game in the second half to what it was in the first half. As I said, I just felt Arsenal played into United's hands a little bit. I mean, you've got to credit United. Tactically, they set themselves up very well in that first half, and they just made things very, very difficult for Arsenal. But you could tell the second half, Arsenal had worked it out a little bit at halftime, as Mikel said, tweaked a few things, moved the ball quicker, which I think was really, really important. And that just opened United up, and Arsenal got at them time and time again. As Mikel said, there was chances in open play that they just didn't take advantage of. And I think United can be very thankful of that, because it could have easily been a 3 or 4-0 margin of victory for Arsenal had they just been a little bit more efficient in the final third. Right, I'm going to talk about set pieces now. To be fair, I've been talking about them since the start, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in depth now. I genuinely cannot believe it's a farce. It's farcical, the reaction from rival fans. It's jealousy, actually. When I say farcical, it's not. It's jealousy. That's exactly what it is. Everyone who's sitting there moaning, every Man United fan at the moment I'm seeing moaning, everyone is calling Arsenal Stoke City, including Dimitar Berbatov. And I know that was a sort of throwaway, jokey comment from him, but it's obviously been picked up on and mentioned. I think Mikel was even asked about it in his press conference after the game. And it's just jealousy. It's exactly what it is. They all wish they were as good as that. It's just the irony of them pretending to be angry at Arsenal for being good at set pieces when they should really just be angry at their defenders and their team for not being able to defend against them. Because set pieces have always been a part of the game, a huge part of the game, and it's a massive part of Arsenal's game, but it's not the only part of Arsenal's game. Arsenal, I think the corner count yesterday was 11-0. Arsenal had forced 11 corners. They did that through good attacking play and forced those corners. United offered nothing. They did nothing going forward, and so they didn't even win a corner. So it's like, it just makes me laugh. Where's the anger at that from Man United fans and from everyone else? And obviously rival fans are piling in on it as well. And it's just pure jealousy. You look at the work that goes in to making Arsenal good at set pieces. I find it really interesting. I was watching it in depth yesterday again, time and time again. When the corner was given, you'd see Kiwior would come up from the back. He'd be getting instructions from Nicolas Jover as he makes his way up from the halfway line. Then Kiwior would go over to Martin Odegaard. He would then pass on what Nicolas Jover had said, exactly what sort of, whichever set piece it was they were going to try this time. Then Martin Odegaard would trot over to Bukayo Saka or to Declan Rice. He'd pass on that message in terms of what sort of delivery, in terms of the ball that they need to put in. And then they go over, they talk to everyone at the back post. Everyone would get their plan given to me. It's so intricately done. So much work goes into it during the week and everything like that. And everyone has a job to do, and everyone has to do that job properly. The delivery has to be brilliant, and it is. I mean, as I said, Declan Rice's deliveries yesterday were fantastic. All of that work goes into it. It's just a crucial part of football, and it's gaining Arsenal advantage. 22 goals since the start of last season from set pieces in the Premier League. That's 8 more, I think, than anyone else. In a season of fine margins, in a league of fine margins, that can prove to be the difference. It was last night when you have a bad sort of night in front of goal, when your finishing is not on it, or your final decision, your final pass in the final third isn't what it should be. If you can then fall back on set pieces to get you a win, brilliant. It just makes me laugh. It's just hilariously funny to see rival fans moaning about it. And when any sort of moaning they should be doing, it should be at their team for not defending it. And as I said, United's only chance yesterday came from a set piece. Do you think nobody cared if they'd have scored that? You think those 3,000 in the away end I was standing next to yesterday would have not celebrated that goal because it was a corner? Of course they would have done. It's just utter rubbish. It's just complete and utter jealousy. I've got some comments here from this is from Mikel, actually, who's asked about it after. His press conference was dominated by talk about set pieces again, which is just like on the crowd building tension. It was the first time I've heard this at the Emirates yesterday. In the second half, you could feel that the crowd were getting into it. Every time Arsenal got a corner, the atmosphere rose and everyone was cheering and sort of building the anticipation for the cross coming in. And I think that adds to the nervousness in the opposition team as well. It just makes it a real sort of spectacle now every time Arsenal get a set piece. Mikel said the stadium's reaction is something we didn't plan. It's because they have belief in the same way they react when we're in the high press and we're in the ball, because they know what we can do. It creates that connection and that belief, and it's easier for players to deliver because that noise creates good things for us and difficult things in the opposition. On the sort of evolution of Arsenal set pieces, Mikel said, I think last year we scored the most goals in the history of this football club, not because only of set pieces, but because a lot of things that we have. We want to create individual moments, magic moments, a lot of players that create their own goals. We can create goals on short corners, long counters, against slow build-ups. When we have to have restarts and the opportunity to open the opposition, every single phase of play, just maximize it and keep working on it, just keep improving. That's what he's talking about there. And that's why I just find the whole argument, or it's not even an argument, I don't even know the best way to describe it. It's just farcical what we're hearing in terms of Arsenal set pieces from outside of the club. But when you look at it, Arsenal works so hard, it's so careful, everything's so carefully planned out, not just from set pieces, but every single way that they can hurt the opposition. And should be what I don't find. Every single team should be doing what Arsenal do. Should be putting that much work into set pieces. You go to Tottenham and you hear Ange Postecoglou saying, sort of saying, "Oh, I don't really care about set pieces. I haven't got a set piece coach. I don't really work on them. Blah blah blah." And then you look at how bad they are at set pieces, especially defending them. And you think, well, you're a manager, aren't you? You're supposed to be doing everything you can, finding every little advantage you can to help your team win a game. And if you're kind of shunning such a key component of a football match, surely you're not doing your job properly. It's just mad to me. It really is mad to me. So yeah, that's my little rant on set pieces. But yeah, one last thing: how good were the deliveries yesterday? Declan Rice is especially just unbelievable. On some more from Mikel in his press conference yesterday, he spoke about Kiwior and Zinchenko. Obviously started. There was no Gabriel and Calafiori. If you can see here on YouTube, if you're watching, you can see the picture of Gabriel and Calafiori out on the pitch with Kiwior after the full-time whistle. I thought Kiwior was excellent yesterday. Fair play to him. He stepped in. When I got to the game, we were in the pub before the match on Holloway Road, and we were talking, and the team news was in, and we were talking about that left-hand side of the defence of Kiwior and Zinchenko. Both coming in from the cold, really. I think it was Zinchenko's second Premier League start, maybe, or first Premier League start. It was definitely Kiwior's first Premier League start of the season, I think. And just coming in from the cold, and we were worried about it. Thought United are going to target that. We needn't have been, because United were non-existent as an attacking force in the game, because they were just frankly rubbish going forward. But everything that Arsenal had to do defensively, they did it really well. And I thought Kiwior, he was just calm, he was composed, he was a threat going forward. He added to that set piece threat Arsenal had. Defensively, got it right, and there was just some nice stuff with the ball as well that he did, especially in the second half. So I thought he played well. I thought Zinchenko played well. He definitely tired Zinchenko, you could see, and I think that led to that error when he got yellow carded for bringing down Ahmad. You could just see maybe his concentration, his focus was going a little bit. And I wasn't surprised. In fact, I was pleasantly pleased to see Mikel react and take him off pretty much straight after that. But speaking afterwards, Mikel said, big credit to Jakob and Alex. I think it's the first start for Jakob after a long time. You have to be thrown in against this kind of opposition and these kind of front players. The same with Alex. They did magnificently well. We trust them. They prepared so well. They had the opportunity and they grabbed it with both hands. So very pleased for them. On the injuries to Gabriel and Calafiori, Mikel said Gabby was a big risk to play because he felt something against West Ham. Sunday is going to be a possibility with Ricky as well. Let's see how he reacts. I think it was close, very close for those two playing yesterday. But you just don't want to risk anything, do you? Even in a game, big game against Manchester United, you don't want to risk anything. And yeah, it'll be interesting. Hopefully they will be back for the weekend, but they were very, very close. So I don't think it's anything to really sort of worry about when it comes to injury. But the good thing is that the fact that Zinchenko and Kiwior could come in, could step up, could produce a performance like that, have him not play for so long, it just helps. And we've seen it in the recent weeks. I think the squad, it's been a real boost to the squad the last few weeks, because a lot of them have played games and have come on and have found their form. Even someone like Trossard, who I thought was great when he came on as a substitute yesterday as well. But now you've got Calafiori, you've got not Calafiori, you've got Kiwior, you've got Zinchenko, and Wanyeri's come on recently and done well as well. All those players feel part of it at the moment. They're getting minutes and they feel part of it, and that can only be a good thing for Arsenal going forward. Right, player ratings wise, This is what I've gone for from last night's game. Raya, I gave an 8. He didn't have much to do, David Raya. First half, his distribution was a little bit off a couple of times, which was surprising for Raya. But after that, I just thought everything he did very well. Second half distribution was, right back up to his very, very best. And that save he made from De Ligt, it'd have been absolute daylight robbery had that gone in and United got themselves level. But it was a crucial stage of the game, and to make that save, I had a perfect view of it from where I was in the stadium, and it looked like De Ligt's header was going to the top corner. And it wasn't just that Raya got there, it was the real strength he had in his wrist to then be able to sort of flick it away. A brilliant save from David Raya, not for the first time this season. So I gave him an 8. Timber, I gave an 8. Good to see him get his first Arsenal goal. Lovely header at the near post from him. Good, solid performance. Saliba was my man of the match. It was really close between him and Declan Rice for man of the match. I know that Declan Rice got it on the TV, and I think Saliba got it voted by Arsenal fans this morning from the Arsenal man of the match. I'm giving it to Saliba. I just thought he was imperious yesterday, Saliba. And I thought, especially in that first half as well, when United were playing so tight and Arsenal were struggling, at times you'd see Saliba would take the ball forward and drive and try and be that extra man. He was trying to make stuff happen. He was all, I just thought it was a fantastic performance from him. Really, really was at both ends of the pitch. He got himself a goal. Not that he knew much about it, but he got himself a goal. So he gets my man of the match, Saliba, 9 out of 10. Kiwior, I gave an 8. As I said earlier, I thought he played really, really well. Zinchenko, I thought played well. Did tire in the second half, no doubt about it. An error crept into his game. Could have been a costly one. Thankfully, it wasn't, because I'm sure it would have got a lot of criticism had that led to a goal. But solid enough performance from Zinchenko. So credit to him for that. So I gave him a 7. Partey, I gave a 7. Another assist for Thomas Partey at the back post, getting in, heading it across to Saliba. Should have definitely scored in the first half. I'm not sure how he missed that. I think he wasn't expecting it to come to him. And by the time it had, he couldn't react quick enough. So when you saw the replay, you're just like, oh, so close. But another good performance from Thomas Partey. Gave him a 7. Same for Martin Odegaard. I thought Odegaard looked a bit tired in the second half for me. I mean, he was just pressing like a madman. Even in the first half, he was trying to do it, but second half he was pressing like a madman. Didn't quite have as much influence on the game as you've seen when he was on the ball last night as he had in recent weeks. But still a good performance from him. I gave him a 7. Declan Rice, I thought, was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. He was driving forward, played some really nice passes. His set piece delivery was just undefendable almost, and really good performance. I listened to his interview afterwards. Declan, I don't know if I took the quotes down. Let me just have a look. Did I take them down? No, I didn't. But I was watching his interview afterwards on Arsenal.com, and I thought there was some interesting stuff from him. Just to see if I can get it up here. He was talking about it. He said, "This year has been my biggest output in terms of goals and assists throughout the year, so I'm really happy with that. It's been a slow start to the season for me personally. I think off the back of a long Euros, it's taken me a while to get going, but I think the last few weeks I've been feeling much better and back to my best. Tonight, I just had a different energy. I wanted to do anything for the team to win. In the second half, I would have done anything tonight to get those 3 points. I'm buzzing." I thought those are interesting comments because he's right. You can see the change in Rice in the last few weeks. When Rice is in real top form is when just that energy level just sets him apart from pretty much anyone else on the pitch. And you saw that last night with those driving runs forward. He was coming back. He was winning the ball. He was turning the ball over in midfield. United thought they were away from him. Then he'd stick his toe out, get it, be off again. And you can just see when Rice, we saw it in the second half last season. Well, actually the whole of last season, Rice's energy was outstanding. And it just set him apart because of how athletic he is. And he can just get up and down the pitch. And we hadn't seen that so far this season. He was struggling for form, struggling for confidence, struggling for energy, clearly. But there has definitely been signs in the last few weeks that he's been getting back to his best. And I thought last night was out by a distance his best performance of the season. I thought he was absolutely excellent. And so that's really positive going forward for Arsenal as well, if you're getting Declan Rice back towards his best form as we head toward the festive period. So he got a 9. The forwards I all gave 7. Saka, Havertz, Martinelli. Didn't really happen for them. Havertz had that one chance in the second half, which, again, when you see the replay, it was very, very difficult to score from. Maybe he should have taken it early. His touch was a little bit heavy, and that took it too close to Onana. But his link-up play was very good. Saka put in some decent deliveries. Didn't get the assist for the second goal, obviously. Put in some decent deliveries. Martinelli stretched the play when he could in the second half. He won some corners, which is obviously very, very important, trying to stretch United defence. So, the 3 of them gave 7s. Jorginho, Marino and Trossard came on. I thought Trossard played very well when he came on. Maybe took a couple of extra touches at times when he could have got a shot away, but he really did continue the good work that Martinelli had done at the start of the second half when he came on, and he stretched United, and there was some good link-up play with him as well. So Trossard playing well. So yeah, my man in the match yesterday, William Saliba, closely followed by Declan Rice, but good all-round performance from all of the Arsenal players. And a very important win because Liverpool dropped points. 3-3. What a game that was. I watched the extended highlights this morning before I did this show. And yeah, it was a dramatic game. Classic Premier League game that. Unbelievable goal from Alexander Isak to make it 1-0. Mo Salah doing what Mo Salah just always does, keeping Liverpool in it, get the assist for the equaliser, scores 2 himself. Looks like he's won it. And then Fabian Schär. What a finish that was by Fabian Schär. Yes, it was a mistake, a misjudgment from Kelleher, but unbelievable finish from Schär to turn that in from that tight angle first time on the kind of half volley or volley, whatever it was. Brilliant game. I don't know how Van Dijk didn't give away a penalty. I'm not sure if it was a sending off. It was stupid what he did when he did shoulder barge on Gordon, but I don't get how that's a foul. The ball was still in play, and he just comes in off the ball, absolutely, he's nowhere near the ball. He just comes in and shoves him, just giving an absolute shoulder barge to the face. And I don't know how that's not a foul. If VAR look at that, and they did, because I think they looked to see if it should be a red card offence. But even if it's not a red card offence, I don't get how that's not a foul, because the ball was in play and he's just come and barged him straight over. It's just a clear foul. I don't know how he's got away with that. Even the one in the second half, I think Konza on, was it Konza on Isak? Konza did get a tiny little touch on the ball. Probably, if that's given on the field, there's no way VAR overturns it, I don't think. I think it's just penalty. I think it was one of those ones. But I think Van Dijk was very, very fortunate to get away with not conceding the penalty. But Liverpool dropped points, and that's why it was so important. We were all sitting there on our phones yesterday, and we were looking and saw it as 3-3 in the stands, and that just added to the sort of atmosphere of, come on, we've got to get this win. And it's huge now. Gap's down to 7 points. Everyone else won as well. City got back to winning ways. Good win for them. Chelsea march on, 5 goals for them at Southampton. Southampton's defending is just comically bad. So really important, and everyone's pulled Liverpool back a little bit. 7 points is still a big gap, obviously, but it's small. They've got to go to Goodison Park at the weekend. Final Merseyside derby, League Merseyside derby for Everton at Goodison Park. They had a good win last night, 4-0 against Wolves. Hopefully that'll boost their confidence levels. That won't be easy for Liverpool. Just got to see what happens. Long, long way to go, as I've been saying. Right, just moving on before we wrap this one up from some of your reactions to the game. Brian says, "Hi, Charles. The meltdown by rival fans online is glorious. Glorious. Calling us Stoke City FC. What did George Graham say? It's fine that people hate us. It's part of our history. I'll take it all day long. 100% believe we will hunt down Liverpool. Come on, you Gunners." Ash says, "What a game, Charles. Atmosphere is electric after the first goal. I encourage everyone who hasn't been to get down early and follow the Ashburton Army March before home games. On the performance, this was a really one team in that game. United came to play the lowest of low blocks and had no clue what to do when we scored. The second Amorim went to a back four. It was like we had more men on the pitch. Their players couldn't get a sniff of the ball. Rice was colossal. And on set pieces, leave off. Your club is the same 24 hours in a day that we do. If set pieces are so easy, why don't you defend them better?" Absolutely, Ash. 100% agree with you. Just like that, 9 points becomes 7. Charlie says, "Jakub Kiwior appreciation post. Played in his proper position and looks solid as a rock back there." Indeed, he did. McCormick AFC says, "Zinchenko and Kiwior were superb today, as all the defence and Raya were." Jabu there says, "Hi, Charles. My 2 cents. Saliba is pure class. Timberuz's quality in his application shows he's a leader where he has come from. Isak is a must get by any means." Yeah, what a goal that was by Alexander Isak yesterday. And Bobby says, "Good win against a poor United team. They frustrated us in the first half, but second we got the job done without getting out of second gear. Ryan made a top save at 0-0. It was 1-0, not 0-0 then. Not only blocked the header, but pushed the ball away from goal. Sign of a top keeper, having very little to do, making a great save when needed. Saliba rolls Royce of a defender. Rice impressive too. Fantastic corners. Each delivery right on the money. You can hear the noise level in the stadium increase whenever we get a corner because we expect to score. It's quite incredible, really." Special mention to Zinny and Jakub, who both came in with little football but were solid. On to Fulham, and on we do go to Fulham this weekend. Of course, the scene of Arsenal's worst performance of the season, no doubt, last season. Hopefully they can rectify that and put things right this weekend at Craven Cottage. Mikel will be speaking ahead of that game tomorrow at his pre-match press conference. That is at 1:30 p.m, I believe, at London Colney. To keep your eyes peeled for all the latest updates from that. Until then, have a good day, everyone. Enjoy whatever it is you are up to. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Go and wind up some Man United fans online if you feel about it. Post a picture of a corner flag, something like that. I know that'll probably wind them up. So yeah, have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the win. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.